Hello everyone, I'm Jay.
I'm Val.
And today we're in Collinsville, Illinois. And we're at the Gateway Convention Center. And we're here for MightyCon. What is MightyCon, Val?
It's all about comics. So you have comic book artists, you have the illustrators, the inkers, you have cosplay actors that love their comics. You have, I even saw that there's Mighty Morphin Power Rangers that are here today. There's everything you want to know about comics is probably going to be here for you.
And we also have something special. So one of the comic book illustrators, he's also an animator too. He draws for animation. He's the guy that actually drew our logo. And we're going to talk to him today too. So come along with us as we Jay and Val around the Gateway Convention Center for MightyCon. So in this booth here, this is Big Boy's studio. They do a lot of different statues. They're 3D printed, but check out some of these really cool pieces. And check this one out. This one is called Vader Unmasked. These are hilarious. Look at this. They're Star Wars Buddhas. Stormtrooper, Darth Vader, and C-3PO.
He's making a costume or something.
Anybody interested in a Cookie Monster Buddha? Or maybe even a Slimer Buddha? These are amazing. This is pretty neat too. Look at this. I believe it's called a Demigorgon. Check this out. This is amazing too. This is Mechazilla. And then he has a couple of Godzilla busts right next to him. This is all the new rage. This is a Rocktopus. This is a low-key gator. Wow. And check out this collection of skulls. These are amazing. Look at this. That's a lurch skull right there, huh? And look at this Elvis skull. Elvis is still in the building, folks.
So hey Jay, check this out. We're at K Creations. If you are into Harry Potter at all, you have to check this place out. They make the wands, they make the wand holders. Absolutely amazing work. And it's a husband, wife, and daughter who actually started this when she was 11. She's now 17. And she came up with this idea. But you can, your Hufflepuff, your Ravenclaw, your Slytherin, your Gryffindor, and they even have ones that have all four on there. Absolutely amazing work. And the detail that goes into each and every one of these.
With the back. Yeah. See, now the hard part is I have to try and figure out what's going to my daughter, what's going to my son, what I'm doing. Because I'm like, I know I'm going to give my daughter a college. Do I keep that other one for me? Or do I give that to my son?
So in this booth, this is Bruce Reynolds. So Mr. Reynolds, we are in a comic book convention. When did you realize that comic books were going to be your thing?
Comic books have been part of my life for my entire life. I mean, when I was a kid, they laid around the house just like any other toy. They were like a football or anything else you'd pick up and play with. And eventually, they piled up in a box in our basement. And before you know it, we had a comic book collection. And one thing leads to another, and when you start collecting, you start wanting to look for issues you don't have, or trading with the kids on the block. And fortunately, we always had a place to stash them in our house, so the comics just grew. And next thing you know, you're kind of the Kool-Aid house on the block where all the kids are coming to read comic books. And that was kind of the case when I was growing up. We were the comic book kids, and everybody would hang around and look at our books. So we always had them around, and eventually the reading became the collecting. And Marvels, of course, were the guilty ones there, because Marvels would always have stories that would hang over from issue to issue, or they would mention something that happened in a previous issue, and you'd go into a panic saying, I don't have that book. I got to get that book. I got to find that book. And next thing you know, you get in a whole run of Spider-Mans, because you feel like if you don't have them, you don't know what's going on. I think the people who figured that out with the Marvel movies that have been so popular for the last few years realized that the continuity of them was what made it magical in the first place, and that's what made the movies work so well.
Wow, that completely makes sense. Like for me, I was a sports card collector, and so same thing, when the new cards came out, we had our group of people in the neighborhood, and we all grabbed the cards and traded them and talked about it. Comics, the same thing. This has been amazing. Thank you so much for your time, and continue success and continue loving comics.
Always.
And check out this lovely couple. They're Jawas. So, if you're a fan of the movie Clerks, they have Jeff Anderson, who's also been in Clerks 2, Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back, Now You Know, Zach and Miri Make a Porno. And he's here signing autographs. Not here right now, but. And also Brian O'Halloran. Clerks, Clerks 2, Brutal Massacre, a comedy. No pun intended, that's hilarious. Okay, so I'm here with Jeremy from Compact Collective. So Jeremy,
Yes.
we are going by your booth and we were stopped short. The pieces in your booth are so awesome.
Thank you.
And so, first off, how did you come about doing what you do?
So, funny story, my stepdad actually does this full time. He, just like I do, goes around to cons all over the country and sells metal prints and paper prints for one of his longtime friends that is an artist. And throughout the years of him doing that, he's met several artists and several people who, need people to sell for them, and I've been fortunate enough to fall in that position.
Now, the process for this art is actually on metal sheets.
Yes.
And can you tell us, how do you get the art onto the metal sheet?
Of course. So basically, we get the image from our artist, and we will print them out on like a transfer paper of sorts, and then we basically take a big heat press, and it just sets down on top of the metal, and it's kind of like giving the metal a tattoo.
Right.
So it puts the ink into the metal. So apart from scratching it or bending the metal, you cannot destroy these things. Leave them out in sun, water, they won't fade, won't rust. It's on there for life.
That is amazing.
Appreciate that.
So, thank you so much for your time.
Of course. Thank you.
And we appreciate you and your skill.
Thank you.
Jim's children.
So we are in this booth here. It's Lorenzo Lizana, and he snapped at me to give me approval for his name. And he does original art. And check out some of this stuff first. This is his renditions of Superman, and Captain America.
Yes, that's fine.
I'm not sure what that one is.
It's Beta Ray Bill. He's a version of Thor. He took over one time for Thor.
So I was just told it's Beta Ray Bill,
Alien.
and he's an alien Thor, basically. Boy, did I just sound like I don't know anything about comics.
He was the 80s.
And this is Lorenzo's version of Batman,
Cyclops
and this is Cyclops.
and the X-Men.
All right, so Lorenzo, I have a question for you.
Yes.
At first, when you were a kid, you were interested in all of these heroes, right? Probably doodled them,
Sketch.
sketched them.
Doodle, I guess it is.
Okay. At what point did you turn doodling into now it's art?
It was around 5th grade. I was in class. A young man challenged me to draw Superman. And I said, okay. It was like a contest. So I asked him, I said, well, what do I get out of it, And he said, well, he's going to give me a stack of comic books. I didn't know what he was talking about when he said that. And I said, who's going to judge? He said, the class. So I draw Superman, he draws Superman. I win. The class liked mine better. And to my credit, it was because my mom was a nurse, and I had her anatomy books. So I learned how to draw the anatomy from her anatomy books. In the back where the acetate is, you got the organs, the skeleton, and in the page that a 5th grade young man would be infatuated on, the muscles. So I studied the muscles, how they connect. This muscle connects to that muscle, and then I drew it like that. And then I got better at connecting the body, and then I was able to turn it and move it. And so poof, it went right into my training of drawing human anatomy, which is really hard to do, someone told me. So once you can draw the human anatomy, you should be able to draw anything. And so I just kept practicing, got better and better. But once he gave me a stack of comic books. In that stack was Spider-Man. And until that point, I didn't know these comic books existed. I was cutting out Spider-Man out of the paper and gluing him into a plywood board. And so to see them in a book and in color blew my mind. So I asked him, I said, where do you get these wonderful books? And he said, at the drugstore, which was about 5 miles from my house. So I had to ride my bike up to the drugstore. And lo and behold, I get there, and the comics, this is in the 80s, so the comics were 35 cents. Now, I was poor, broke, and disgusted at that time, but I had about 55 cents. So I was able to afford one comic book. So I bought the Spider-Man comic. And then my life took on from there. But a couple of months later, I ride my bike up there because the books were coming out monthly. Every 30 days, a comic will come out, and they'd be on the spinner racks, the old spinner racks. So I go in, and then my life changed when I saw X-Men comic. And that was it. It was John Byrne and Terry Austin did the artwork. And I saw that artwork. I sat on the floor with the Spider-Man that I was going to buy, and I saw that X-Men, and I changed my mind. I said, I'm going to buy that X-Men because the artwork was superior in my mind. And it was wonderful. So I went on that quest of finding the better art. And so I study artists from the 80s, 90s until now. I study artists from every era, decade, post-impressionistic artwork to the Disney catalog. I just studied it all because I hated not knowing how to draw something. And so I became valuable by drawing all these different styles and looks and stuff. So I got into the field of I was a screen printer, freelance comic book artist. I got into toy design. Animation is where I'm at the moment. But I learned so much stuff over the years that it's just an accumulation of when I was in 5th grade to now. I turned it into a job.
Isn't that amazing how it can be just an enthusiast at first and then actually make money off of it later on down the road? Isn't that cool? So cool? So now we've had actual people comment on our YouTube logo. And you, my dude, you're the one that drew our logo. Can you tell our viewers what came about? How did that come about? Like, how did you end up drawing our logo for our channel, which, of course, Val and I love.
Well, you guys, I think you mentioned you had one, and I thought, oh, we got to have a logo. You know, so I decided to do a caricature of you and her, and I figured that'd be cool enough to, as a place card, until you can get a real logo done by a real artist. So then,
Oh my goodness.
so therefore, I worked up to I got skilled enough to be able to do a new one, and it's coming soon. So yeah, I can't wait, because now that I know what you guys are really doing, and I've watched so many videos over the year.
Yeah, it hasn't even been a year yet, right? It's
No.
crazy.
I know, but I love it, and I love what you guys are doing, promoting St. Louis and all the art collectibles, and not just St. Louis, but wherever you guys go. It's fantastic. So I think that's pretty cool. But yeah, now I got to do you something fun, because valing around is now a term that I use all the time.
Right?
Jay and Valing around.
It's amazing. Well, so we also have to kind of backstory a little bit. Now, we've known you for, like, what, 38 minutes or so?
Yeah, 30. Yeah, what is that? 30 years.
30 years.
I've known him
Val,
30 years.
Val has known Lorenzo for 30 years, and Lorenzo was so kind to actually do our wedding invitations, and that's how the caricatures started in the first place. And so, yeah, so now he just improved our characters and gave us such a great logo, and we can't thank him enough. We can't thank you enough, really. It's been amazing. So, is there anything that you're working on right now that's new that people that are going to watch this video are going to want to look out for?
Well, coming soon, and I think I can talk about it, is I'm a toy designer as well. So I design these things called the Battle Balls, and hopefully those will be out. I don't know if they're end of the year, but I designed those. I work for a toy company called Busby Toys, and they're pretty cool, out of New Jersey. And so that's my latest product. But I'm an animation director now, and so I direct animated shorts and things like that. But we're pitching different TV shows, so a lot of different stuff to like Netflix and HBO Max and stuff.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. A few of them are more like Adult Swim type stuff, but one is that we're working on, I think I can mention it, we're doing a superhero-based one based on a football player, Ray Lewis.
Oh, wow.
As Night Raven, yeah. So.
Oh, that could be neat.
Yeah. In development, everything's in development, so it's pretty cool, and that's what I've been doing of late, and so it's been fun.
Alrighty. Well, everybody, you just heard that, so look for that stuff to come out in the future. And Lorenzo, continued success. We love you, and yeah, continued success. I don't know what else to say. I mean, you're our dude.
Thanks.
Alrighty, MightyCon at Gateway Convention Center in Collinsville, Illinois is over. So Val, what did you like about MightyCon?
It was awesome. If you had a want for a comic book, you would have found it here. That is for sure. Lots and lots of comic books. The people were amazing to talk to. Everybody's always so friendly at these shows.
Yeah, I mean, what I liked was our interviews today. We got to interview our awesome friend who drew our logo for the channel, Lorenzo, an amazing man. We also got to interview another amazing man. His name was Bruce Reynolds, and he loves comic books, and he will talk and talk and talk about his enthusiasm about comic books, that was just awesome that he gave us a little bit of his time.
Learned a lot from him.
And also there was some really good art, some good drawings, some good pieces. And another thing I really liked too was the 3D printed Buddhas.
Oh yeah.
I mean, you have to check those out. So if you like this video, give us a thumbs up, comment down below. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe. It'll let you know when our next video comes out, and it'll keep you in the loop.
Yep.
We want to thank you for coming along with us today and enjoying some MightyCon. And we want to thank you for Jay and Valing around with us. So in this booth here, this is Crane's Post. And check out all of the different headwear for your costumes. for your cosplay.